there's no overarching law in the United States about self-defense.
We had a situation in the great state of Michigan recently where one of our members is taking their son for his birthday. A gentleman got involved with them. He attempted to force them off the road.
Wow.
A number of times. They pulled over. He pulled over. Our
Terrible,
member
scary.
had his firearm in the console and simply took it out and set it on the dash. The individual who was causing the incident dialed 911, and our heroes in blue have a tough job.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you believe in that episode?
Very limited context.
So basically, they're charging both of them. Our member is going to jail. Fortunately, we had a great attorney who's able to call the DA, say, hey, our guy's never been in trouble here. Can you bail him out and at least let him go back to his family and his son, celebrate his birthday? Let's do the right thing here and get it done.
Hey, what's up, guys? Taylor here from Defenders and Disciples, and I'm here with Frank and Perry from Right to Bear. I got connected with them through Bill Kirk, as you know, from Washington Gun Law, really awesome guy. And they invited me down to talk with them about their program, Right to Bear. And I figured I'm obviously not going to pass up on a vacation.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, we're over here at Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. So we're going to talk about their program. You know, I'm pretty thorough. So I have a laundry list of questions that we're going to try to get to. I don't know if we'll get to all of them. But yeah, so once again, thank you guys so much for having me here and for obviously what you do and what you stand for.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to get into this. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be a great conversation.
Yeah, no, I am too. It's been, it's been fun getting to know you over the last year, which is crazy how fast time is going. And then being able to reconnect at GOA, kind of get aligned on not only who we are, but who we are as people, more importantly.
Yeah.
And we just share a lot of common interests. So, I mean, what a great opportunity to come together. And when I told you kind of last minute, hey, we're going to Myrtle Beach, shoot some content, you think you can make it, and you're able to make a trip out of it for your family. And
my response was, so today's my anniversary. And my response was, I don't know about that because like anniversary coming up, and I thought about it a little bit longer, and I was like, actually, I might be able to play this. And it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
So great timing.
This is, like I was telling you earlier, that's why we love homeschooling, because we just pack it up and go on a trip.
Yeah. That and the lack of indoctrination too.
That too. Yeah, I don't have to ask the government permission to go on vacation.
Yeah, that's right. That's hilarious.
That's a whole nother topic though.
No, man, we're pumped, and I'm glad Frank could come too. It's a good opportunity for us to reach a new audience, share our program, let them kind of see behind the curtain of Right to Bear.
Yep.
Maybe next time we'll get you to Columbia and kind of have like a day in the life of Right to Bear.
That'd be cool.
Check out the office and meet the team and all that good stuff. So I'm super pumped to share our program with your following. And yeah, Frank, you got anything?
I don't think we'll ever get him to Columbia after he's down on the coast and he's seen the sandy beaches of South Carolina. Oddly enough, we're in the place that I met my bride, and we've been married 33 years, 2 beautiful daughters, and
that's awesome.
So I'm very fond of this place. Yep.
That's awesome.
Thank you for having us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Before we get into the questions, I just want to say one thing. We talked about this beforehand, and just to be fully transparent with my viewers and everyone watching, I am an affiliate. I've done videos with AOR, which is Attorneys on Retainer. But you guys, I think one thing I like about y'all is y'all don't get into the mudslinging and like throwing, shade on those other companies and stuff. And I respect that. And so these questions are framed in that way. They're framed in just the general, like, what do I think the viewer is interested in? What have I been told people are interested in? And we're going to ask it in that way, as opposed to, prove to me that you're better than this company. And that way the viewer can decide for themselves which one is better based on just, face value, based on the policy, based on the, the answers to these questions, and what other information is out there. So, elephant in the room. Yes, I am an affiliate of AOR. I have videos on AOR. And I still stand by the things that I said in those videos. However, when you guys contacted me, we got connected. I do think you guys have an awesome product, and I wanted to share that with my audience and everyone else that's watching this video. So we're going to just to acknowledge that, because people were probably going to ask, like, why aren't you bringing up this other company? Well, there's a reason. I like what you guys said about, we don't want to, basically sling mud at other companies. Because if you've been on YouTube in the past few years, you've probably seen a lot of that. Like, it's people constantly back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I think a lot of times when you do that, kind of the details get lost about, okay, well, what do you actually do? Like you tell me what they don't do, but what do you actually do?
Yeah.
You know, we take a position in our company that there's a lot of opportunity out there, and there are a lot of great carriers in this space, competition, if you want to call it. And we admire all of them.
Yeah.
Everyone brings something special to the table. And we're just thankful that you've got coverage. I tell that to so many people. They say, well, what separates you and what makes you different? There are a lot of things. And I always tell them, hey, we believe that the competitors paved the way for us to do it better, and we're doing it better.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stand behind that. But I admire the competition, and we're grateful that they're out there. You know, when you consider there are 200 million people or so that have firearms in their home, and there are only 2 million people covered for a product like this, there's a lot of room for all of us.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a ton in it. And I think that it goes back to our ethos, which is how we connected so well, is like, you know, we're a Christian organization. We don't shy away from that. We have a product that is specifically tailored for people that serve on their team, whether in a volunteer or a paid basis. So, you know, we bring a lot of our character into the business world as well. So our position, stay above the fray. And one of the most impactful quotes for me as an athlete that I think that we take into business is, a friend of mine told me this when I was getting ready to go play in college. He said, don't ever forget this, Perry, the cream always rises to the top. And so you don't have to do your they don't do this, they don't do that. We've never done that. We've said, let's highlight what we do. I always still believe that one day in politics, there's going to be somebody that runs on solely what they do and not what the other person doesn't do or has done poorly in the past. And I think when you take that position, it's refreshing knowing like, hey, I'm just here looking for some type of a self-defense insurance product, right? So I want coverage for me, my family, if I ever have to defend myself. And that's the cool position from our company is, you know, we're not political. I don't care if you're right or left. Everybody that I know personally believes in the right to defend themselves and their family. I think take politics aside, right? I'm not going to let somebody come in and just like, oh, you know, have at my family, right? You're going to defend yourself. And to be able to provide and bridge the gap of the legal system, justice system, come together. How do we protect people and give them, as we call it, right to bear pure peace of mind? That's our ethos, and that's what we're about, man. And so
I love it.
Kind of going in before we dive into the questions to talk about what is right to bear, what's the structure of right to bear, what's all encompassing in right to bear, I think is super important. And then Frank, if you want to fill in the gaps of anything that I missed. So right to bear is an association. We're not an insurance company. We have 5 key benefits that we pride ourselves on. Number 1 is we want to be a resource to not only people that own firearms, but everybody, right? We don't offer coverage for just firearms. It's all acts of self-defense, right?
And most acts of self-defense, as far as I understand, are not a firearm.
Yeah. Over 90% of the incidents that we have had, 90% of them never even touch a firearm, which is crazy to think that. So we want to be a resource center. So we do newsletter. Every Friday, we send a 2A weekly update of some firearm law, some self-defense case study, and we just send it out. We don't take a position on. We send it out to keep our members in the know. What's going on in Ohio, Texas, Florida, Maine, all around the country to make sure they're informed. We have awesome. In our member portal, we have educational resources, self-defense training videos, real life scenarios where you're going to Walmart, taking the kids to Walmart. How do you properly back in? How do you find your points of potential pressure or issues? You're right. Ken Scott has done a great job for our company in that regard and has made some what could be pretty bland videos. He's made them very, very entertaining. So he's done a phenomenal job there, right? Our product then also comes with the self-defense insurance product that Frank and I tailored together, right? So we handcrafted a program and a product that, in our opinion, stands above the rest of the competition to give our members the absolute most coverage that they possibly can. Frank says it all the time. We always find ways to offer our coverage. And so that's one of the things that we've stood out amongst our competitors. And then, you know, in my opinion, one of the most valuable things about the membership, and certainly the most frequently used, is the non-emergency attorney access. You basically, when you become a member of Right to Bear, you basically have a nationwide network of vetted pro Second Amendment criminal defense attorneys that are there at your beck and call to answer questions for you whenever
That's
you
awesome.
want. Am I going from Philadelphia to Cleveland, right? What are the laws, right? I'm from Florida. I travel from South Carolina to Florida a bunch. And I go from South Carolina down 95 to Georgia to Florida. What is covered or what type of laws do I need to be aware of if I'm bringing my firearm with me?
That's
right?
huge.
And especially with my family. You just came from Tennessee.
Yep.
You probably, I guarantee you, knowing you probably did some research on the laws from Tennessee, where you came from, all the way to now Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So did I miss anything that I missed there?
So the 24/7, 365 attorney answered hotline. We will always have an attorney answer our emergency calls, and that's super important.
Yes,
that separates
absolutely.
us from a lot of the competition. So whether it's 2 a.m. on Christmas morning or 2 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day, we've got a live attorney answering that call.
Yeah.
So client attorney privilege is established from the moment that phone is dialed, and that's critical for our members, and we stand by that. We believe that's just a difference maker. So
I think so too. Yeah, because having another, if someone has a company that doesn't have that, and risking that conversation being subpoenaed that could be really detrimental.
Yeah. So you piece all of those benefits, and then you look at the price point that we offer our product at, $17 a month, $185 a year. It's really tough to compete right now. We are very, very well financially backed. And it's allowed us to really take the country by storm. And, I don't have the exact numbers, but you kind of do some high level and you have your ears on the ground. We are one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing from a new membership count, not total membership, but new membership count than anyone in the country. And, we're excited, man. We want to do it for the right reasons. And I think you being here and even having a sit down with us shows that we're at least trying our best to do it for the right reasons.
Yeah. Well, like we've had several conversations, and just to let you guys know, I'm very thorough when I ask questions and very upfront and forthright, and they have not shied away from answering any of my questions. Like, they will answer them, and there's none of this like marketing response. It's like very straightforward, and it's really refreshing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to diving through your questions and, you didn't give me a ton of time to prepare. I'm just kidding.
Here you go.
No, we're looking forward to answering them and then having your audience respond accordingly if they feel that Right to Bear is the right fit for them. Obviously, we'd love to have them come and join our family.
Yeah.
So.
And possibly, if we don't get to all of them, we may do a follow-up interview.
Yes.
And if you want to know about that follow-up interview, hit the subscribe button and then turn that notification bell on.
Yep. There you go. Turn the bell on.
Call to action.
That's right. Love it. So
let's get into it.
Let's dive in, my friend.
And I'm just going to read these as they're written because, I want to make sure I don't miss something. But the first one is, how simple is it for a member to qualify for coverage? And for more detail on this, many people are looking for peace of mind and simplicity in self-defense coverage. They don't want to worry about a company trying to find a policy loophole in order to deny them coverage. So if someone is a member before they have to defend themselves, are charged as a result of a self-defense, and reasonably claim self-defense, can they trust that they are covered without, jumping through a bunch of legal hoops and stuff like that?
It's as simple as it gets. We've got a few just very basic questions on our website, and obviously we're seeking to find ways to make sure that we can protect the members that want to be protected. So it's probably as simple as it could possibly get. So.
Yeah, and some of the criteria that Frank and I in running and operating the business along with our chief program attorney is the things that we look for in the reasonable cases, as you stated, is, was our member in an unprovoked fashion in a life-threatening situation of themselves, family member, or innocent bystander, or were they in imminent danger of bodily harm, right? Maybe not death, but like, was somebody going to slice my arm with a knife? And for us, in the history of our business, it's been pretty cut and dry, to be honest, man. And because the attorney-client privilege that is established, Frank and I can't know the conversation that's had. We get the 30,000 foot view of what's being what transpired in the incident, and then based off of the details that we're able to understand is really going to trigger the coverage that our self-defense policy brings, right? So it's been, in some of the stories, man, of when we're actually able to be there when someone needs us. And it's cool too, because you have the 24/7 hotline. People call in all the time. It doesn't actually, sometimes it doesn't end up leading into legal expenses being incurred. But we had literally 2 nights ago a 2 a.m. call where our attorney took the call, just spoke with them for 30 minutes, just made sure that they were okay. We have some of the best, not only best attorneys, but best people in the country holding our members' hands. Frank, you want to talk a little bit about, and you share the story so well, with our guy down in Jacksonville?
So one of the things I think that truly separates our company is we're relational and not transactional. And just to give you kind of a glimpse of what that looks like, when our attorneys establish their case and get prepared and assign counsel and make sure that they've got the right fit for our members on the emergency hotline when a case comes through, they then call me. And that's when we sort of go into our call of action plan. Give you a glimpse of what that looks like. I immediately call our member and I let them know that we're going to hold their hand through this situation. We're going to be there for them. We are a faith-based organization. And I can tell you that many times we pray with our member and just share
that's awesome.
The pure peace of mind that we talk about so often. Just a few weeks ago, we had a retired Marine defend his life in front of a 7-year-old down in Florida. When I got him on the phone, told him who I was, and that I was there to hold his hand through the matter, he wept for quite a while, just needing that comfort, that voice. It was funny. I typically call our members a number of times during the week just to say, hey, how's it going? Just to make sure that they don't feel alone, because so oftentimes it's such a business thing with these attorneys and how they do business, where your case is going to be here and you're assigned to this location and this is, what you're going to be expecting. But we bring a little bit more of that personal relationship to the incident. And so I continue to stay in touch with him, and about 3 weeks or so went by, and my phone rings one day. I look at it, didn't recognize the number. I answered. He said, hey, this is so-and-so. I'm on my way up to North Carolina to visit my fiance. I was wondering how far your office is from I-95. And I said, well, it's about an hour. He said, man, I just want to come hug your neck. Just wondered if I could veer off course. And I said, man, go visit your fiance. Don't worry about hugging my neck. I'm just grateful to have your friendship and for you to be a member. And we got him well taken care of. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. But that's really who we are. When we say pure peace of mind, we don't just talk the talk. We walk the walk every day with our members, making a difference in the lives of those we serve.
Yeah. Well, Frank, that's awesome. Especially you being the president of the company. I mean, it says a lot. The fact that you have a member calling you on your personal phone and you're responding to that. I mean, it's not very common.
No, no, it is not.
Are there any situations where someone reasonably defends themselves, but still might not be covered? Viewers might want clarify on how Right to Bear draws the line between covered and non-covered incidents.
Yeah. It's very simple. Life-threatening of yourself or loved one, unprovoked, and you are in imminent bodily danger. It's that easy, man.
Okay.
Because we have the attorney take the phone call, we're able to get details, and because we're very thankful that we're well positioned financially with a strong backing, and our goal. We didn't start this business to necessarily come and, hey, there's a need in the market. Let's go start a business and make a bunch of money. We saw that there was a need in the market for somebody to do it a little bit different, with a little bit more relational, as Frank talks about, where there was more of a relationship between decision maker, lawyer to customer and or member, right? And that's what we bring. So when you talk about how easy is Right to Bear, as long as you're not running around doing things you shouldn't. I know one of the questions I'm assuming is coming is, have you ever turned down a claim, or what does that process look like? It's pretty egregious. The ones that we have been like, not that is provoked, and nobody came into your personal bubble. And
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because we've talked about we talked about this at goals in terms of, I call it your batting average, you know, and like it's one thing for people to hear about what a company says it's like they're going to do or their policy and all this. But I mean, one thing you've shared, and obviously you do this in a way that doesn't disclose details about the individual cases, but can you discuss that a little bit? Like y'all have had a certain number of calls and it's like you said, it's very rare. And those exceptions are like, and I think that helps too, because people have an imagination of like what's going to happen. And it's like the worst case scenario of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get denied and all this stuff, because I think that fear has been stoked. Yeah. I might have been part of that fear. Yeah. But I think that, you know, people do have that fear. And I think there may be some reason to have that. But can you kind of get into that and explain like just the reality of here's the past record. So like you can use that to help determine future results.
Yeah. I mean, so far we're batting 100, which is awesome. We really do. I do mean this a lot. Kristen Keller, our chief program attorney, has really helped us put together a rock star lineup of attorneys. And one of the things about our attorney network that I think is important to talk about, and I know we'll get into it in a little bit, but we have built the network in a way that all of our members have and will have local counsel involved in the case. That plays a huge part in if you are going to bat 100, right? We've had a case, we were talking with a lawyer that they were, and this was not a right to bear claim, this was another matter in their career where they were representing their client in court, where the attorney was going against the prosecutor. And by the way, they had a tea time the following day. And when you know the judge and you know the prosecutors and you know the DA, there's a good chance that your case, the penalty is going to be limited or you're going to get off, especially when you're acting in self-defense of yourself. So that is a huge piece of our puzzle in the right to bear value proposition is you have local counsel. You know, we've got over 200 attorneys nationwide that represent our members.
Yeah, and I want to say a little bit about that because we're passionate about making certain that our attorneys believe and stand by and are passionate about the Second Amendment. We vet that very carefully, and we find that to be very important. I want to give you a situation that we had about 18 months ago where a doctor and his wife defended their life out on the West Coast or the left coast, or however you want to say it. We love them, but they were out on the West Coast in their motorhome. They were actually charged with assault, oddly enough, in California. It was a kind of a weird matter. You're choosing to defend your life, and you're charged with assault. The attorney that we engaged with them shoots in one of our largest partner ranges in San Diego. We got him on the case, and literally in about 14 days, we got him acquitted. Wow! But I'll tell you. As you've heard, I stayed in touch with that couple almost every day, even on Saturday and Sunday. It was touch and go for a while because had he been charged and it could have gone on the felony side, he could have lost his medical practice. The other thing I want to share with you, serious. The other thing I want to share with you is we're a company that believes that you can go outside of our attorney network and hire your own attorney if you so choose. Oh, okay. And we want to tell you why we believe that's an advantage. If you're in Little Rock, Arkansas, and your brother-in-law or first cousin on your wife's side is the DA locally, and he's a good, criminal or civil attorney, we want to make absolutely certain that we've got the best opportunity for representation for you. Yeah. So we are well suited to allow our members to do what's absolutely best for them at all cost.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's awesome. It is powerful because it's happened before. A member has brought their own local counsel. They said, "Hey, I have somebody, but I would like them to represent me in this matter." The one, if there is a caveat to that, is they just have to agree to the standards of the attorney network that all other 200 have to agree to. Other than that, if they do, which by the way has happened, everybody's agreed to it. They begin representation, and we work directly with the association. Works directly with the attorneys. We don't have to go through the member. It's not a reimbursement, right? It's between the association and the attorney on representation, and so that gives our members lots of peace of mind knowing that like I'm dealing with this crazy matter. I've got family, I got kids, soccer games, and all this craziness, and then I've got to worry about settling up with the attorney, and then I got to go and send an invoice back. Very simple. It is. We try to alleviate all administrative burdens that we can off the member. Just, hey, go relax. You've got somebody that's in your corner, and doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, well, that's awesome because, just for the sake of the conversation, and we kind of skipped ahead to one of my next questions is about how some companies rely on something called pro hoc vice, which is basically where, for anyone listening, it's, as far as I understand, it's where an attorney from another state requests permission, either sends in a letter or something, to operate in whatever state the member's from.
Yep.
And while technically speaking, yes, that is allowed and that is legal for them to do, there can be some downsides to that when you talk about the relational aspect. And as someone who's worked in law enforcement, has been to court and interacted with district attorneys, defense attorneys, like having those relations goes a long way. And as much as we may not want to admit it, it does.
Yeah.
And so having someone that knows the political landscape, like you said, has tea time with the prosecutor, it can be the difference between getting off or getting acquitted.
Yeah,
getting acquitted or getting convicted.
What is it? It's like know and trust. Do they like you? Do they know you? Do you trust? Do they have relationships in the interworkings of said jurisdiction that's going to be of our members' benefit? Our goal and our continuous press forward is to make certain that we do at Right to Bear, we have legal representation in every pocket of the country, so that we are giving ourselves and our members the best chance, because it's great, right? The self-defense coverage is going to get you and cover all the legal expenses. There's no deductibles, but you don't want to spend time in jail, right? You don't want somebody that's like haphazardly taking cases. You want somebody that's a bulldog and that's going to fight for you. And also believes that if you're being convicted of in a self-defense, or being charged, I should say, in a self-defense incident, you got to have somebody that's passionate about your rights to do so, and especially if you use a firearm. Yeah, because of just the unfortunate nature of it. It's a very highly politicized,
it's sensational,
topic. And you use a firearm, and there's lots of folks out there that are going to try to make an example out of you. And that is our nightmare. Is that we had somebody that could have signed up for a Right to Bear membership, and they didn't, and then they get used as an example. And we've seen with some of the cases that we've experienced in our past, some DAs try to make an example out of younger people, not under 18, but younger people in their 20s. And it doesn't feel good. And it just, honestly, man, it pisses you off. And you just feel like people are getting taken advantage of. And fortunately, we've built a great team, a great program to not let people get taken advantage of.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, then still going back to that, having the network of attorneys in each jurisdiction or each state, it's not just the relational part, but also there's no overarching law in the United States about self-defense, and each state has its own, and even beyond that, each jurisdiction, county, city kind of has its own little take on what is justifiable self-defense and how that is going to play out, previous case law. And so having an attorney that's local, that is familiar with that, there's just too much information for, I feel like, a single team or a single attorney to be well-versed across the U.S. in a way that would make them as competitive compared to one that's in that jurisdiction. Yeah,
I think that's a huge, huge advantage. I think that's something that should be considered every time you're going to purchase a product like ours.
You bring up such a good point there. And I want to give you a case scenario, because I think real life examples help us all to really understand the magnitude of the comment you just made. We are seeing a lot of cases around the country where there have been episodes of road rage. And so
lots of those.
We had a situation in the great state of Michigan recently where one of our members is taking their son for his birthday. Their son happened to be autistic, and a gentleman got involved with them because they were driving a little bit slow on the interstate. He attempted to force them off the road a number of times. They pulled over. He pulled over.
Oh my gosh.
So our member had his firearm in the console, and simply took it out and set it on the dash. It was that simple. The individual who was causing the incident dialed 911, and our heroes in blue have a tough job.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you believe in that episode?
Very limited context.
So very limited contact. So basically they're charging both of them. Our member is going to jail. Fortunately, we had a great attorney who's able to call the DA, say, hey, our guy's never been in trouble here. Can you bail him out and at least let him go back to his family and his son, celebrate his birthday? Let's do the right thing here and get it done. Pro hoc vice is not going to work in that case.
No.
Just sharing that with you.
It's not.
It's just not going to work. And that's the realism of life.
Yep.
So,
yeah. No, that real case actually of right to bear. So we probably need to do a better job of highlighting our member testimonials and getting some of these people to talk about.
No kidding.
But yeah, that we're working towards that. But I'm excited to be able to share that stuff because it's powerful.
Now, speaking of that, we talked, people going to jail. Obviously, if they get charged, there's a chance they're going to have to go to jail and maybe have some sort of bond. How does that work with y'all's program? Like paying. Is there any assistance with that?
Yeah. So you have to actually add that to your plan. It's an additional $4 a month or $35 a year. So you're not breaking the bank there on adding that. And so the way that that works is right to bear, or the coverage will provide up to $100,000 of protection for situations like that. So whether it's a $1 million bond that is a 10% surety bond, right? It's $100,000 is the most out of pocket that we'll pay.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. I was going to ask about our non-firearm self-defense actions covered. We talked about that. And most of them most incidents are non-firearm.
Let me tell you a quick story.
I know where he's going with this one.
So it's kind of funny because it sounds like a joke. And it's almost stupid. But when you start talking about non-firearm related self-defense incidents, we had a member, actually, because it touches on another question, a domestic dispute, where our member literally used a bag of avocados off the kitchen table and whacked the perpetrator, for lack of a better term, across the head, and somehow managed to get charged with assault. It was not assault with a deadly weapon, for the record, but it was assault. And we're like, this person was being attacked with a knife, and they used a bag of, is it fruit or a vegetable? What is it?
Fruit.
Bag of fruit?
I think it's a fruit. Yeah.
It must have been a hell of a right bag.
Yeah.
They did a number on them. But yeah, so it sounds goofy, actually happened.
Wow.
And but yeah, that's, I mean, right there, the legal defense portion of our membership kicks in and off they go.
You know, I want to add to that. We have fathers around the country who call and want to ask, when we say any means of self-defense, they're concerned about their daughters at college and what happens if, in the event there's an attempted carjack. We're going to cover you. And we believe that that's a serious situation that warrants self-defense. We never want anyone to exit their vehicle during an attempted carjacking of any kind. Here's the problem. Insurance companies would deny that claim just simply because it's an intentional act and you can't be liable, you know. And so bottom line, we're going to pick up because it's an act of self-defense and defending your life against someone trying to harm you, steal your vehicle, and you never know what's next. So now,
are you talking about using the vehicle as your tool of self-defense? Okay, I want to make sure I understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you say the insurance, like they won't cover that because it's intentional.
The auto insurance won't.
Correct.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we will extend coverage, and we're passionate about it because, again, when we say any means of self-defense necessary, we mean it.
Yeah. Your story reminds me, in the Marines, we had this saying, one mind, any weapon. And that's a prime example of that.
You didn't picture.
We didn't train with avocados though.
Yeah. Well, we might need to suggest that.
Adapt it.
Yeah.
So what about this is some of the companies talk about accidental discharges, negligent discharges. If a member accidentally fires their weapon, under what circumstances would they still be covered? I don't know how many companies do. I know one in particular that specifically talks about ADs and NDs and that they cover that to some extent. Is that I don't know if it has to be with just self-defense or if it's just in general. Can y'all talk about that? Is that a common defense for someone to say, oh, it was an accidental discharge.
Yeah, they say we in our position is that, it's all negligent discharge. And we don't mean that to like belittle the individual or the situation, but that's our position. The answer is yes, and we have. Actually, that was our first ever claim.
Yeah.
Right to bear was a negligent discharge.
Really?
Yeah.
So yes,
this was Frank. How many years ago was that?
Been almost 3. And I remember it like
3 years.
it was yesterday.
Wow.
Because when we first got the call, it came into our emergency line, and normally, our attorneys will call us in that situation because there's, again, no law enforcement typically involved or any situation like that. The number one concern there was that he lived in an actual townhome and the bullet penetrated the wall and went to the other unit. And he's like, what do I do? So I held his hand through the event. And but I make sure they understand, it's not accidental. Discharge. That used to be an old term, but we do cover it, and so
So next up, will you continue helping a client if they are wrongfully convicted and need to appeal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's another part of the thing we want to talk about is the handcrafting of the policy that we have for our members. Is that we took the time to say like, okay, Frank and I, both firearm owners, what would we want in the event that we had to need some level of coverage for ourselves?
That's a good approach.
And that, it
makes sense.
It's like, it sounds like earth shattering news there, but it's like, hello. That's why it was cool for us when we were starting the program. It was like, because
I would assume y'all are also customers of the program.
Oh, yeah. We were the first 2 members.
Absolutely. Yeah. For a while, we were the only 2 members.
But no, that's why we wanted to handcraft. We took out major exclusions that have gotten some of our other competitors in trouble.
Yeah.
And because we had our fingerprints all over it, we were able to say like, we want this we want this out. And it brings a level of peace of mind for us knowing that our members are protected. But then, we were able to use some of, just like in, I'm a football guy, in short, you watch film on teams. What did they do that they did well? Let's copy it. What do they do that didn't work out super well? Let's get that out and then put together a game plan, a package, a membership that benefits them. And that's what we've done with our coverage. So
I like it.
Yeah, it's been great.
I want to add to that. We're seeing a disturbing trend in America right now that speaks very, very badly for the judicial system because judges bypass the rule of law and become activists. And we struggle with that. So if you've got an activist DA that's persuading a jury in some form or fashion, and that level of activism, is carried over to, some type of judgment against a member, we're not going to hold it against them because they literally were found guilty or charged erroneously, and then they have to appeal. The other thing I'll tell you, and I'm very proud of our language in our member agreement, and we don't have recoupment fees. And I can tell you, we're never going to kick our member when they're down. And
can you explain what that is?
Yes. So a number of our competitors have a clear written, clause in their insurance policy that states that should a member be found guilty as charged, the insurance company can come back and recoup their entire legal cost from the member. Let me tell you, that could be a painful event.
Yeah.
And
a lifetime of debt is what that could be.
Yeah.
It truly could be. And it could be devastating to somebody who literally had counted on their policy to cover them. When we say pure peace of mind with our company, that's part of the pure peace of mind. We're not going to go back and recoup anything from you. That's just not going to happen.
if someone is sued after defending themselves, are legal fees and damages covered? So I think relating to like, civil type situation. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, no, it's great question. The answer is no, we don't have that in our policy. So the reason for that is when Frank and I were crafting this insurance policy to put together to offer for people that we're marketing to, we're having a really hard time finding any case precedents for a civil damage awarded to someone that won their self-defense case in criminal court and then was awarded a damage in civil court. There was an incident in 1987 in Oregon where somebody was sued for damages or sued in civil court. I don't remember the details of the case, but the damages weren't awarded to the individual that took a self-defense posture. So when Frank and I were evaluating how do we want to put together this plan and the price point that's affordable for people, right? There are some products out there right now that are $500-600 a year, and right now, I mean, that's a steep deal. And for us being $17 a month and $185 a year, the barrier to entry to get you the legal protection that you need, we've made it as simple as possible. The other thing is there are 24 or 25 states that actually grant civil immunity after an act of self-defense.
So you might be already paying for something you don't need.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, so in a lot of states,
you're basically paying for something that's never going to pay out.
Wow.
And these carriers have to know that because those 24 states are very clear in their language about the civil immunity. And it even goes a step further. We've acknowledged very clearly that we're a faith-based company. One of our largest growth sectors right now at Right to Bear Association is the fact that we offer coverage for church security, whether you're actually an employee or you're a volunteer. And there are a whole lot more volunteers in that sector than there are. But, most of the states go even further when you're doing security for houses of worship in that immunity clause. So basically buying that coverage could result in you just spending needless funds that are never going to pay out.
Yeah.
But then Perry has stated it so eloquently, we can't find case precedents for a civil damage judgment against anyone when it was a true self-defense case.
Wow. Now in the states maybe that don't, is there an option or maybe going to be a future option for someone to add that on?
Yeah, that is in the works right now.
Okay,
that is our plan to be able to do that. That the goal here is to not, it's still our position that we still haven't found it, but we come from the property and casualty insurance industry, right? And you insure off of not probability but possibility, but it's kind of hard when there has been no case precedent to date, but there are still people that request it, that want it, that ask about it all the time. And so we are in the solutions business. We want to bring a solution. Certainly when people ask about it, we don't want to just, well, this is our position on it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Solution in search of a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want that.
Yeah, no. So we're, we're looking into it to build out the absolute best product the market has to offer.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad y'all talked about that because one thing that I've noticed in this space, self-defense coverage is there's a lot of, it's very esoteric. Like people don't really understand the nuances involved with it. And sometimes they could be led to something that they may not need because they're convinced that they need it. Yeah. And I'm glad y'all talked about that because if you're not familiar with this space, even like, because most people have never even been to court unless it's like a traffic ticket.
Yeah.
And so even like that those details are sometimes, people don't understand them and the complexity involved, and they just know what they've seen on TV. But I'm glad you guys talked about that because once again, most people probably think, "Oh, I probably do need this." It's like, no, you actually don't.
Yeah,
so,
You just said something that really hit front and center for me. People don't understand, and we often have people in our classroom settings around the country with a lot of our partners. We have over 800 partners nationally that recommend and are partnered with Right to Bear in the training space, and we're very proud of that. But we have a lot of folks that'll look at us and say, "Well, why do I need this product?" Well, let me give you one example, and I'm going to ask you, if I can, What do you think the retainer on a criminal attorney this day and time is if you're charged with murder in a self-defense case?
With a firearm.
Oh,
with
gosh.
a firearm.
What's a retainer? You mean like hourly type thing? Or
the upfront. I'm going to take this amount just to start the case.
I don't know. It's in the thousands. I'm going to say 10,000.
Keep going.
50,000.
Yeah.
You're getting into the neighborhood now.
Wow.
And it depends on what part of the country. There are reasonable and customary charges, but what might be 50,000 in Girton, Arkansas might be 100,000 in Hollywood, California. But these attorneys, the good ones, now I'm talking about the experts that say, hey, I can really help you in this case if you truly are going to file a self-defense motion. But there was a murder involved. And if I've got to defend you, this is going to be a long, drawn-out case. So my starting fee is $50,000.
Gosh.
That's just a glimpse of that. Most folks don't have that sitting around.
No.
It's just not there.
Yeah, and then you're stuck. If you don't have that, then you're stuck with a public defender. And that is not what you want to do. No disrespect, but that's not what you want to do. And so that's why right to bear exists and companies like us do, because it is heavy and burdensome.
Yeah.
And scary at the same time.
That is.
And then the other thing you don't want to do too is you don't want to run to Google and criminal defense attorneys near me and then call up Joe Schmo. You don't want to be calling Perry. I don't know anything about it, right? Next thing is somehow you're calling like I can't.
My cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
The one that pops up is just the one that's really good at SEO.
Who's got the most blogs on their website, right?
Wow. No, that's good. I'm glad you covered that. What about incidents involving family members or domestic situations? So a high percentage of defensive incidents involve people the member knows that may be a domestic relationship. What's your approach to that?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Frank.
I want to hit that head on.
Yeah.
That's probably our most complicated cases that we review.
I'm sure.
I mean, you've heard earlier in this conversation that we're intimately involved in our claims. Our general counsel, along with Perry and I, we make the decisions regarding our claims. We are directly involved in every matter. And of the hundreds of claims we've had, we denied 2. We're very proud of that. We're going to seek to find support for our members rather than looking at some language that says you got to stick by the black and the white. There's always a gray. And in domestic situations, you hear a lot, it takes 2 to tango, but usually there's some clear-cut
There's a primary aggressor.
There's a primary aggressor there. And in that case, you've got to be very, very, very careful here.
Yes.
So we're always cautious. We're always erring on the side of the member and support for that member. And then, holding their hand, because it's a very delicate time.
Yeah.
And we've had some situations that were not fun. I'll just tell you, they weren't fun. And a lot of those cases involve having little ones involved, and that even makes it more heart wrenching.
Yeah.
So our approach to that relational side of it, and making sure they know we're praying for them, and making sure that they understand that we've got their back, we do it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So think. You have your intruder and your defender, right? That's if our member is in the defense posture of a domestic dispute, our aspiration is to provide coverage for them.
Yeah.
That's what we've done to date, and that's our plan. We don't have in our policy, we don't have an exclusion for domestic dispute.
Good.
I don't know the rest of the industry. I don't know what theirs specifically says, but I know ours does not have any exclusion about domestic
Most
dispute.
exclude it.
Yes.
There's a few that don't, but that's good that they all don't.
Yeah.
Have you had a situation where both members or both people involved in the domestic were members?
Yes. Yes. And I
know you can't get into details, but
no, I will tell you then, in that particular situation, alcohol is involved, and that's where it just kind of
usually is.
Yeah, that's
usually
where it just kind of gets out of hand.
Yeah, we have a product that we've bundled together that takes main member, secondary member, all of the add-ons, package it one, and we promote it as our family plan with some discounted pricing on it. And they're part of the family plan.
Family claim.
Yeah.
With domestic coverage.
Yeah.
So to Frank's point, it's hairy, but I think, this is why it was important for both of us to be a part of it. Frank said we're intimately involved in every case. And so we always are looking to do what's right by our member, instead of just looking to have it be like, okay, well, hey, we got to hit this margin for this month, and this domestic thing, man, it could look really bad if it got out in the media. We're not worried about that, right? We want to do what's right. if we're not going to specifically exclude it in the policy, we're not going to, we're going to stand by the member.
Awesome.
And have to date. So this is not some pipe dream, and we're doing it now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of alcohol intoxication, how does that play into coverage?
Yeah. Well, every case.
And that's one of the questions. So
yeah. Well, every case is different.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't say, well, I had one sip of a beer and there's alcohol involved, denied, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is no exclusion for alcohol in our policy either. And there is a huge difference between somebody at 2 a.m. outside of a nightclub, if they're, just as if there's a huge difference if you were having a glass of wine with your wife on a Friday night when the kids went to bed, right? So every case is different, but there is no exclusion when it comes to alcohol. Now, if you are egregiously above the driving limit, and you certainly run the risk from our position of not having coverage when you are intoxicated. But and again, there's no real great straight answer. But as long as you are as long as you are in a position of self-defense and you're not inebriated, our position is to provide coverage.
Well, at the end of the day, like, as much as I feel like sometimes people don't want to acknowledge this, like, when you consume alcohol, you are literally changing your brain.
Yeah.
Like, you are turning into a different person. Maybe to a small extent, maybe you're a little bit more sociable, or to a large extent where you're doing things that you're basically now a different person. So, like, it's personal responsibility. If you're going to go out and get drunk in public and have your gun with you and decide to defend yourself, you've made several wrong decisions.
Yeah.
And if you're in your house and you're, like you said, like having a couple glasses of wine and someone breaks in your house, like, that you're being forced into a situation where you're in your private area and someone's doing something, I can imagine that person's going to be far more likely to get covered than the person who's like acting belligerent at the bar and getting into bar fights.
Yeah.
And then defending themselves.
Well, yeah, that was one of the claims that we have denied. Was there was somebody that refused to take a breathalyzer test. And they weren't acting in self-defense was the reason they got denied. But then you throw that in there on top of that, it makes for a bad deal. But, you have to, and coming from the insurance industry, you do realize, like, every claim is different. Every situation is different. So while love to answer, and this happens all the time, this is what I tell my customer service team, is people are going to call in asking hypotheticals. Would you cover this? Would you cover that? Would you blah, 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 all this stuff. And you just have to say that, number one, every case is different.
Yep.
Number two, but based on the facts or based off of what was given to me and the information I have of this hypothetical scenario, we would lend to believe that coverage might be extended or coverage would be denied, right? So that, I know that sounds like attorney legalese, but that's the truth, though.
Well, it's just reality, because even like self-defense situations, if you were to present me with a self-defense situation, like, there's only so many variables I can work off of with just you giving me the facts. And, like, I have to say, well, it depends on this, depends on that. Depends, like, there's a lot of things I'm not in that moment. So yeah, it's not as cut and dry as I think
Definitely
some people
not.
would like it to be. But once again, personal responsibility. Like, don't get out and go get hammered and then get into fights.
Yeah. Be carrying your gun around.
Yeah, you're not 15 years old anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned, Frank, talking about I think you said you've only had two denials?
That's correct.
Can you talk more about that? Because that sounds like, going back to the batting average, that's pretty good batting average from you guys.
So when I was talking about batting average, for the record, I was talking about when we have extended coverage, like right now, our members are getting off the hook, which is phenomenal.
The two claims that we denied were clear cut, not self-defense. And each time the person that was denied protection was literally the provoker of a situation. And it was clear cut after our investigation.
Wow.
But I will tell you, we took days to investigate that matter, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't make some off-the-cuff decision. And we're very proud of that because, again, we want our goal is to find a way to protect our member and to support them and nurture them and to make sure they understand we care about them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the other cool thing too, when we were talking at the beginning about our benefits, one of the benefits of Right to Bear is the 24/7, 365 attorney answered hotline. There is no reimbursement. The claim was denied, and we have to have the member send the attorney $500 for the hour, the 2 hours they spent on the phone with them. Like that is a benefit that you get when being like, you're going to get, the attorney's going to answer the call. Whether we do extend, whether it's a covered incident or it's not, the attorney's going to answer the phone. So at a minimum, you're getting great legal advice and guidance right then and there at a minimum. And then this has happened a bunch too. And I think this goes beyond, is it covered, is it not, is the ethos of our company is that if, it's not a Right to Bear Association self-defense covered event, we still are going to push them to one of our attorneys to represent them. Not, Right to Bear or, the policy is not going to pay for them to do so, but they're at least going to have wise counsel that understands the dynamics of their local jurisdiction for representation. And it's the same thing. We've had people call in, somehow got our hotline that are not members. Well, we're not just going to say, oh, go away, shoo away. Like, hey, no, like we're happy to get you appointed with Kristen Keller. Happy to get you appointed with Ryan Cornegi, right? They're great attorneys and they'll be happy to represent you. We're not going to pay for it, but they're going to be happy to represent you.
Yeah.
So it's just going above and beyond for people, man. Like it's again, it's something we live by. We try our best every day to be relational and not dollars and cents driven.
That's cool. Well, those stories, I mean, and we've talked about this before, and this is probably going to be, it would have to be a deeper conversation between you guys and your company, but I think it would be cool if somewhere on your website, obviously sterilize it of any personal information, but having that list of like, these are just maybe the facts or whatever to show people. Because again, it's one thing to hear a company talk about it, hear someone like me review it, and then, or read their policy. It's another thing to see that actual, like, here's the past results. So you can you can make your own judgments.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the member testimonials, we need to do a much better job of getting those out there.
Yes, we
Because it's not just like, oh, they stepped up and they covered the cost. It's like, Frank called me for a week. Like, it got to the point where it was like a little overbearing, right? Now, no, but
I've not had a complaint yet.
Yeah, there you go. But I think that's you start talking about when you're choosing, like, who do you want to be with? Do you want to be with somebody that's just going to toss you an attorney? And that's great. They cover the fees, but does it mean anything to you that, president or vice president's going to personally call you and let you know that you're taken care of? And then when the thing that we've tried to push amongst our team, whether it's sales, marketing, customer service, whoever, is we want them to take on this persona that we're here to help people. And that goes to our attorneys as well. We have, can't say fired technically, but we've stopped using certain attorneys when we found out that they didn't have the bedside manner that Frank and I believe in.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, listen, great attorney, we respect your capabilities and your talents, but you're not aligning with the ethos and the ethics of this company. This
soft skills are lacking.
Yeah. And we got a couple people that we'd love to refer you to, right?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I want to take that a step further though, and just share, I know we're up against time a little bit, but we shared with you earlier that we've got probably 850 or so partners around the country. Well, we have even more instructors that make their living training people to be, better with their firearms. And we just have great admiration for those individuals.
Yeah.
But when they refer someone in our space, they need to have that pure peace of mind that their member that they're leading, to us is going to be taken care of when they need it the most.
Right.
And we will stand by that until the cows come home. Nobody else is going to work harder in this space to make absolutely certain that we bring that true, pure peace of mind.
That's awesome. So now going back to the intoxication part, we talked about alcohol, but obviously as we move along, more and more states are legalizing cannabis and maybe even other substances. So I would assume that similar logic applies to those things as well. But can you speak to that?
Yeah, it's when you cross the impaired threshold, and every state has a little bit of a different view on that. But that would be the determination whether or not it's just like, there's a difference between being, for pardon my layman's terms here, there's a difference between being baked out of your mind and, doing whatever it is you need to do to take the edge off, right? I know there are states, I have friends that are professional athletes that use it simply to relax and recover after just getting beaten and bruised after an NFL football game. We have our positions on things of that nature, obviously, as everybody does, but we don't force them on people. Our job is to protect people in their acts of self-defense. So as long as they're not impaired, right, that our position is to extend that protection.
I want to add to that though, and not to dispute exactly what you're saying, but we've got a lot of folks out there that use cannabis in the medicinal sector, and let's say they're in their home, the privacy of their home, they're partaking in that drug, and let's say they are impaired, but let's say there's a true self-defense situation where they've got to defend their lives. Yeah. Somebody's come through the front door. We're absolutely going to defend them. So I want to make sure that word impaired, that we're very careful there.
And I would assume the same thing with alcohol in that situation.
Same thing with anything. But there again, if it's a true case of self-defense, we're going to cover you regardless. I mean, let's be real. There are a lot of folks out there that partake in alcohol, and some way more than others. But if you're still defending your life, you're defending your life. Yeah. The problem we have is the provoking of incidents. So,
which again, folks, personal responsibility. Like everyone knows, as you consume, you are going to be more likely to be in a provoking type mindset.
That's right.
It's like, so honestly, can't remember the last time I consumed alcohol away from my home, because I'm always carrying away from my home, and I'd never drink when I'm carrying. And so it's like, it's just a very easy.
Yeah. Well, and the best policy is always de-escalation, but that's hard to do when you're impaired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
absolutely. That's I was getting off on a tangent here, but like the whole, 0.08 DUI thing, I'm like, why would you just make it just zero? How about any alcohol whatsoever? That should be a DUI, because now you're assuming that someone at a 0.08 somehow has a better mental state than they did at a 0.0 or 0.0. It's like, just make it no tolerance whatsoever, because otherwise you're assuming that people are going to make a better decision as they get intoxicated. Yeah. Oh, I'm 0.08, time to stop.
Yeah. And obviously based off, this is not right bear specific, but based off of size and the way that your body responds is different. Like it could be, I had half a beer and somehow you end up with 0.8. Just depends on who you are and what you got going on. So.
Absolutely. How much you've had to eat, everything.
No doubt.
Yeah.
All
right. So this is one I've been wanting to get to. If someone is comparing protection plans out there on the market, what is one of the reasons they should choose Right to Bear?
Yeah.
I just give you a softball.
Yeah, no, that's good.
It's like the question. It's like, why? Why would I go?
I think it's important to have the founders of the business come on and talk about it. Is, we say it all the time. We believe that we're the most value-centered, cost-effective self-defense membership in the country. In my opinion, we offer lots of great benefits. Obviously, the self-defense policy the self-defense insurance policy is great. We believe that the language in the contract that Frank and I put together soars head and above what some of the other language that's out there. But then you look at the ethos of the company and the why. What other company is going to have the president and the vice president call them after self-defense incident simply to say, "How you doing? Are you okay? How's legal counsel? Are they treating you well? Do we need to get somebody else to represent you? No? Okay, we're good." We haven't heard of anybody talk about that or promote that. We've heard that people say, well, we're about our member. Okay, well, what does that mean? You give them an attorney, great. So do we. So does everybody else. But Frank said it best, we believe that we're going to work harder to make sure that we give our members more peace of mind. And I could sit here and bore you with, and we got all the descriptions of all the benefits on our website. And I could sit here and run through the price point. But when you look at price combined with benefits, my opinion, bias, clearly. I don't think there's anyone out there that does it like us.
It's awesome.
And I will tell you, there's so much reward in taking the servant's heart approach. And I will tell you, biblically, scripturally, I'm just a big proponent of making sure that we put service above self. And I want to give you another glimpse of that, if I can, for just a moment. I can't talk in specifics about this case, but it warrants conversation today. Perry and I got a call late one evening about a case where a gentleman lost his life in a self-defense incident. And our immediate reaction, based on the location of the case, what happened, the facts, or the 30,000-foot view, our first initial reaction was, this is not going to be covered. And I truly believe in my heart that there would have been a lot of our competitors that would have walked away from this situation. And for about 3 days, we studied this case very carefully because the member was adamant to us through his mother. I was on the phone with his mother a lot, and his mother was absolutely adamant that her son was set up. Sure enough, 3 days went by and he was set up. He was
my gosh.
He was led to a location hoping to just meet a young lady, and when he arrived, there was an attempted robbery, and he defended his life. And let me tell you how rewarding that situation has become, even though it's still involved. My wife and my beautiful daughter's son-in-law were going to brunch on Mother's Day after a sunrise Easter service. And I look at my phone, it's ringing. We're walking into the restaurant. I don't recognize the number because I can't save the hundreds of numbers of people I talk to every day. And I answer the phone. It's a young man on the other line who had just made bail. And he said, Mr. Frank, I just wanted to reach out to you and tell you how grateful I am that you held my mother's hand and you never let her go.
Wow.
And it's a mission field, man. Yeah. It's a mission field. When we say pure peace of mind, dadgummit, we believe it.
That's awesome.
We live it.
Yeah.
Taylor, thank you, man.
This has been great.
We're grateful.
One more thing, though.
Yes.
I have one last question. And this, I want the viewers to go and look this. So, I don't know if you guys can answer this, but I'm just going to make a comment here.
Sure.
But some companies have published comparison charts, and for some reason, they don't include you.
They probably just don't know about us, right?
Yeah, maybe. No, and that may change after this video. I encourage you guys to do the fact check, but I mean, I did find that curious that they have all these other companies, it's like check X or whatever, that as they compare these companies, and you don't really find you on there. And you are big enough that you are competitive with them.
Yep.
And for some reason, they don't seem to want to put that on there. And I'm not going to draw conclusions. You can draw your own conclusions, but interesting.
Yeah, no, it is interesting, and that's their prerogative. But they know where we stand, and that we're a bear to compete with. We've had the opportunity to make great relationships with some of our competitors, and they might have just been pumping us up a little bit, but more times than not, the one word that we hear about Right to Bear is we are a problem. And it throws a monkey wrench in the way people do things. We are ultra competitive. We believe in the blue ocean strategy. We want to find ways to access new markets that our competition has not, and we do that every single day. And so, primarily we market obviously to shooting ranges, gun stores, instructors. I mean, we've got our program embedded in employee benefits. We're doing a bunch of different things that other people are not haven't thought of, and that's how we're growing our membership. So we're doing it not only within the firearm community but also outside.
That's awesome.
And it's really hard on a comparison chart. It's super easy to put, this is our price, this is our coverage limits, this is what we offer, this is what we don't. But there's no way to put a section that says they get prayed for, they get their hand held, they are truly being nurtured through the entire process. And they've always left with pure peace of mind. There's no way to put that on paper.
You're right. Right. This has been great.
Yeah, man.
Thank y'all grateful, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
Appreciate it.
Welcome to the great state of South Carolina.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the beach.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot better this time. One of the previous times I was here was a Marine Corps boot camp, so it's a lot better this time.
Thanks for serving.
Yeah, and thank you
for
serving.
man.
Yeah. Thank you. I hope you and your family have a good time. And I'm looking forward to doing it again soon.
Yeah. Well, and I'll have links in the description of the video for how they can find out about you guys, and hopefully we'll have more videos to come.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, train to a higher standard.